This is Mike Nasty, Fatman. I'm going live. There were some exciting playoff games. 2 overtimes, a 57-yard field goal, and then going down. Brady takes him down, and, third down conversions. Gronk, Edelman. It's the Fat Man Live. We're going with Mike Nasty. Fat Man Live. What a way to end it. Pats are going back in it. 3 times in a row. Can't take Brady out of it. They win the toss. It goes down and takes them in. Good third down conversions. Edelman making some plays. Going to his guy, Gronk, playing big. That would have been that's going to be a good matchup. Rams, Patriots. Here we go. This is Fat Man Live. Cowboys. They got themselves their offensive coordinator is going to be the next quarterback to play for them, Kellen Moore. And then they're also going to have, as a quarterback coach, they're going to have John Kitna come in to be the quarterback's coach. He was coaching out in the AFL league or whatever with a team called the San Diego Fleet, but he stopped there. So Kitna's played quarterback for 16 years. 3 years he did it with the Cowboys. So he's never had a coaching job in the NFL, but he should be able to, get in the pocket with the guys, help Dak out, give him some stuff to think about. Harbaugh, they're agreeing on the deal with him, so they're working in an extension with John for the Ravens. And the Bengals are interested in Jack Del Rio. So, for the defensive coordinator. And that was a good game. Both those games went to overtime. That first game, New Orleans when that was a bad call in the New Orleans game. That was pass interference. The ball wasn't even there, and it was catchable. And they would have been down at the 4-yard line. And then in this game, you had all those, he threw the red flag out 3 times in the fourth quarter. He won 2. Actually, they won 3 of them because Reed was wrong on his. So, they got some calls. There were some, and that one to the face. Everybody does, but you got to give them credit. I mean, they know how to win. You got to give them that much, man. They can go down there. You can never count them out. They were 11-5, and they just went and took the number 1 seed out down in, Kansas City. Everybody was saying they're not as good as they've been, and they just went in there and hung in till the end. I mean, he made some plays. Like I said, Gronk on third down made a play. Edelman made some plays. 20-yard receptions. Gets them down, moves them down, gets them in the touchdown, ends the game. Doesn't put it in anybody else's hands. They can give the other team the opportunity. That's how you win it in overtime. You got to go down and score, and you can't give them the opportunity to come back. But so now you'll get ready for Jared Goff against Tom Brady. See what the matchup is. See what they're going to say about that. I think the last time the Rams and those guys played, I think Brady was young, they said, when he first started. That was one of his first Super Bowl appearances, was against the St. Louis Rams. And I guess that's probably when they had Warner or someone like that, when they were the greatest show on turf. So the Patriots beat them 37-31. And then you got the Rams 26-23 with a 57-yard field goal to end the game. 57 yards he cranked it through. I didn't think he was going to make it, but he made it. So now you got the Rams and the Patriots. Maryland's women, they beat Penn State 79-67 after they lost to Michigan State the other day. But they were still ranked number 9 as of that. You know, in the NBA last night, the Rockets got past the Pacers, got past the Lakers. Lorenzo Ball, he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. He ended up twisting the kneecap. And they say that this Mahomes kid, he could sign in 2020 and get $200 million. He could be the highest paid. Right now, the highest paid is Rodgers. He gets 33.5 a year for however many years he has. And this kid Mahomes put up 5,970 yards of passing and 50 TDs. And that's for, he's a young kid. You saw he was young. You saw that one play where they put everybody in the box and he didn't change out. They called it cover zero, where they were just sending people. And he had more guys going than he had to pick up, and he didn't. The first time he didn't audible out of it. The second time that's when they threw that screen pass, and Williams ended up scoring and gave them the lead. But the second time he recognized it, or the coach recognized it, and he set up that screen pass, and they got in the end zone from it. And that was a good call by Andy Reid. So they had the East-West Shrine game, and there's a couple guys on there that the Ravens should look at. They said that they were looking at a wide receiver from Georgia, Terry Gordon. He was the MVP. So there's a guy from Georgia. They had a guy from Maryland, they're running back from Maryland. They said that they could be looking at him. And this guy from Georgia is 5'11", 185 pounds. I don't know. It's an outside linebacker they're looking at from Oregon. Yeah, a running back from Maryland. And then you also have the other running back from Alabama that went early, Jacobs. They said that he would fit their scheme if they're going to do that Lamar Jackson run game. He's a big guy. He's kind of like Gus, but he's a little bit bigger. And he runs downhill. And, he has good feet. So it's a couple guys to look for when the draft starts coming up. See what they're gonna do. I always like following what the mock drafts look like all the time. They always change from instant to instant. You never know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna have to fill some holes on the defense. They're gonna need a safety. They're going to need an outside linebacker. In the NBA basketball, you got the Pacers beating the Hornets 120-95. The Clippers beat the Spurs 103-95, and Timberwolves beat the Suns 116-114. That was a close one. In women's basketball, you had Maryland beating Penn State. Maryland women. Louisville won 73-49 over Wake Forest. Stanford 85-64 over Washington State. NC State beat Virginia Tech, and Maryland beat Penn State 79-67. Yesterday we went up to UConn and took my daughter up there, and she checked out the campus, and man, that's a nice campus. A lot of stuff. Actually, they had a basketball game going on, but we tried to get out of there before the snow came. So when it was done, we hightailed it out of there. But yeah, you got the Rockets. Lorenzo Ball's out for a little bit, and LeBron supposedly is practicing, so he should get back on the floor before they start sliding anymore. But my dogs are barking. Who would be at my door to look up? Look at the time. But we got so You got your Super Bowl set up next 2 weeks. You're going to be hearing about the Rams and the Patriots. The old guy against the young kid again. Another matchup of a 41-year-old against the second year QB or third, and we'll see what he does. See what the Rams do. I might have to give it to the Rams, but this day, the first game you had Gurley going for 100 yards. This game, Gurley didn't do nothing. Anderson was running the load for him. Gurley didn't even play much of the second half. They put him in there sparingly. He was on that bike. So, and then they passed the ball. Goff was passing the ball. And when they have the guy Cooper Kupp's gone from an ACL, that was a blow to their receiving core. That guy, that was his favorite weapon. But we'll see what they do. They picked up the guy Reynolds. He looked like he was, he ran that sweep for him. You had, if you're in the MMA, you had Dillashaw against Cujo. The kid came out there, in his gold pinstripe suit, and he brought out a fake snake. And, he did all some crazy antics to rev up the stuff, but he ended up knocking out Dillashaw in 35 seconds. And then you had Hardy from the Cowboys, made his MMA debut, and he kneed the guy in the head and got disqualified. So, he already had a mark against him. I guess he had domestic violence charges or something. And then now he goes and kneed the guy in the head while he was on the ground, so they disqualified him. And then you also got Cerrone. He called out Conor McGregor. And this guy's been fighting forever. This guy, Donald the Cowboy Cerrone, he's 35 years old. He would fight anybody. He'd take fights with 2 weeks' notice. He would just fight. Now he's not going to just fight. Now he's going to try and get himself a championship before he's over the hill. So now he wanted to call out a top 5 contender, and he called out Conor McGregor. But who knows what's going to happen with McGregor because of when he went crazy on Khabib or whatever. And he did stuff to that bus. I guess he's going in Nevada for his little hearing and stuff. Let's see. But they have a couple of you got pitchers and catchers. They'll be going to the 22nd. They'll be heading down for baseball for spring training on the 22nd. Then the 24th, that's when the veterans and all start to arrive. So they'll be having spring training baseball coming around the corner soon. NHL hockey, you had Carolina beating Edmonton 5-1. Washington lost to Chicago 8-5. Detroit lost to Vancouver 3-2. You got the Islanders beating Anaheim 3-0. Arizona beat Toronto 4-2. That's a lot of scoring, 8-5 for a hockey game. Got shots. Washington at 39 shots. Chicago at 28. Hits 35. Chicago at 29. Nick Carr. Yeah, you had the Caps against the Blackhawks, ended up 8-5. Everybody say hello to Dave. Everybody say hello to Vince out there. Vince, how you doing, Vince? Like I tell you every time I see you, if you need a DJ, Mark on here, he's a DJ. If you need somebody for weddings, need anybody to do any kind of, parties, weddings, you need them in your bar or something, Mark here is a good DJ. Then you got Vince if you need a house. Vince is a good realtor. If you need to buy a house in Maryland or somewhere around there, go to Vince. Vince is a good guy. Right, Vince? Lost on my stuff. But yeah. So you had the two young kids, see how they fared against the older guys, and one of them golf made it through. And Mahomes, he's still in the fourth quarter. He brought the team back. He held his composure, got them down there. They kicked the field goal. They tied the game. He only had 38 seconds. He threw that pass. They got a couple calls. They were picking on the rookie cornerback from Maryland, Jackson. They were picking on him a little bit in the fourth quarter. I think he got 2 or 3 in a row. 2 in a row, actually. The other one was in the first quarter, but he got a couple holding calls on them and, brought them down there, and they were able to get in the end zone. They were ahead for a little bit, and then the game was tied and was going to overtime. New England wins the toss. Lucky they win the toss and can't put it in the GOAT's hands. One of the best quarterbacks. We might not like him, but he's done what he's done, and probably made him one of the best quarterbacks around, at least for right now. I still always give it to Johnny Unitas as one of the best quarterbacks. So, but Brady has 5 rings, and now it's his 8th time going to the Super Bowl. Well, 3rd time so far in a row. So, we'll see what he can do. Hey, Chad, everybody say hello to Chad. How you doing, Chad? Chad's in the house, too. So, we're all up. All I know is it's cold outside. I just came from walking my dogs before this, and it was bitter cold. That's why I got my hat on. I'm waiting for I'd rather be at the beach right now. It's going to be bitter cold in the morning. That means you better all put your long johns on, because it's going to be bone chilly. I went out there in shorts and put on a heavy jacket. Whew. My knees are still cold. So they got the young guy there. They got the young guy against Mr. Brady. And then McVay, he'll be the youngest guy to be coaching in the Super Bowl that the Rams coach. I think he's only 35. He might just be turning 35 too, they said. So there'll be a lot of storylines I'm going to tell you about for the next couple of weeks. You're going to hear it all. We'll see what they come up with. And Manny Pacquiao, he beat Adrian Bona for boxing. So he has another title now. He wants to call out Merriweather again. And he's 40 years old and still fighting. And he stopped the guy. He won a unanimous decision. The fight before that, he KO'd the dude before that. And I think he won a title. So he has a couple titles now. He's moved up and down. That guy's Guy's a good fight. I like Pacquiao. I don't want to see Pacquiao Mayweather. That would be boring. Those guys are boxing needs to come back. They're trying to do it. Get more fights on ESPN instead of pay per view. They need to build their reputation up again. Hasn't been like it was. When I was young, it was the Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, and Sugar Ray and Hearns and all those guys, and you could watch them on ESPN on CBS Sports on television. They would have fights like that on a Saturday afternoon. You're sitting there and watching those guys. You know, didn't have pay per view back in my day when I was a young kid watching these things. They had some good fights on. Sugar Ray fighting Alfredo Benitez. That ended up being his brother-in-law. I think Leonard married his sister. But back then they were fights. And then you had the big old heavyweight fights. You had Frazier, you had Holmes, you had Foreman. That was a division back then. If you're a boxing guy. If you don't know anything about boxing, you might not know those guys. So yeah, they're even said they're going to working on the extension for Harbaugh. So his contract, they don't tell you, but they said that they worked on his extension and he'll be here. They said they're near an extension deal with Harbaugh. So the running back coach, he took a job. He goes to Northern Illinois as the head coach. So we'll see how their run game goes. See what Roman has in plan, like I said for him. But their coach just went to Northern Illinois as the running back coach. Yeah. So what was it? I had a mock draft there that they said the first pick is going to be Joey Bosa's brother, Nick Bosa, going to the Cardinals. They packed in this one draft. They picked a safety from Delaware to come here. I forgot the name, but he was from Delaware. I didn't know Delaware was Division One. I thought it was Division Three. But now I looked it up, it's Division One. But Delaware State 2 is also Division One. But hey Mike, how you doing? He's up there, anyway. But yeah, so the Ravens, like I said, they extended Harbaugh's contract, and we're going to look to see what he can do with his defense because they got to make some cap space. So DeCosta has to come up with cap space. He has to come up with trading Joe somewhere and getting a value pick. Like I said, they're looking for a pick, something second or third round. So DeCosta for taking over, we'll see. But he has a lot of things to fill. He has to get C.J. Mosley under contract. You don't want to let him slide away. They got to see what they're going to do with Jimmy Smith. They got to see what they're going to do with Terrell. If they should bring Terrell Suggs back for one more year. He still wants to play. I'd bring him back for another year, but they still need an outside linebacker. They still got to draft on the defensive side. and they're going to look for a receiver. You know, you can find a couple, but you still got more. That's a pretty. I mean, he does good on special teams, and he's a good slot receiver. But Willie Snead's probably the only receiver that's going to stay around. I think Crabtree is going to be gone. They're going to cut him to make some money, and then they're going to have John Brown's not going to come back. These guys want to catch the ball. They don't want to be blocking backs and not getting any of the glory. So those two will be gone. They'll have to get another. And you're not going to catch a free agent wide receiver because no free agent's going to want to come here and pass block or run block, I mean. So I don't know how free agents are going to go for wide receiver spot. But they're going to need a couple. But they still got the two tight ends will be up. But the other two guys, I think Boyles and Williams, they might be looking like they might be moving on. I think their rookie year contracts are one of them's got to be up. So they got to be looking at some stuff. So, like I said, they got to make some cap space. They got to trade Gerald. They got to do some stuff on the defensive side of the ball. And good thing that Wink Martindale's coming back to keep the defense. It's going to change. And these guys know because they say, every year when it goes through, they know that they can't always stay together, that, it's a business and money talks and people got to move around because, too much money that you're not worth money or just don't have the cap space. So just for Weddle. Weddle's probably going to retire. Carr will probably retire. Those guys have been around for a while. Carr had like the most consecutive games starting the streak for a while. He was one of the guys that were up there that's played every game and started every game. So that's good stuff. Joe, that was an 11-year guy that's, did us good. Everybody, we all complain about him when he makes mistakes and has terrible games. I even scream at the TV every now and then. And then the next 5 minutes, he comes back and brings us back in the game. Then you're like, yeah, what are you doing? It's up and down. But, oh, no, he was probably the best one we had. He was the best guy we had. So, for 11 years, he made them what they are. He made them contenders. Almost every year we were down to the wire. Last year's year before, last game of the season, And we almost lost it this year in the last game of the season. But they got through and couldn't get past the first round. So now we have to, get the rookie up to speed, get his accuracy, and holding the ball a little bit better, not fumbling 15 times. Once you get him on the track, and they say Roman, he'll devise different schemes every week. That he's just that's what they say here. Colin Kaepernick says he'll come up with different schemes and different stuff you've never seen before. He just innovates. That's what he does. So, wait to see what they look like. They got a year. They're working on it now. Put a whole new playbook, whole new system in for the offense. Defense, stay number one. Get a couple guys, fill your holes, and they should be good. We can play. We shouldn't have too much of a drop off on the defensive side. But like I said, they're getting ready to extend hard, so that's also going to keep the flow. When you change a lot of people, you got to have consistency. I know things go back and forth, but you got to know what you got there. There's some free agents that are on there, and one of them's Clay Matthews. Would you bring him in here? He's 30-some, like 32 or 33 years old, or 34. I know he's just somewhere around there, but I don't know if he's old. That would be just like, Terrell. He might not be as fast as he was, but he can still play. I mean, he was getting some cheap calls in the beginning of the year, but they fined him a couple times for wrestling the pass, and he never picked up on the guys, and a couple times he tried to lay off, and they were still getting him. I think they need to look at the interference rule because in New Orleans game, that guy clearly interfered. The ball wasn't. He wasn't even. The ball was in the air, and he was already not even looking back and all over. That would have gave them the ball. I don't know if it would have been a 5-yard penalty or a ball at the spot of the foul. Depends on where it was. I think it was the spot of the foul because that's what they were complaining about. The man was Sean Payton. He was mad. He was still yelling at him after the timeout about the call. Who would your rookie of the year be? I'd have to give it to what's his face. I'd give it to the quarterback. I'd give it to Mayfield. Offensive rookie of the year, they say Mayfield. Defensive rookie of the year is Darius Leonard from the Colts, the linebacker from the Colts. Calvin Ridley is the wide receiver. DJ Moore from Carolina. Honorable mentions. We don't have anybody in here. Running backs for the NFC, it's Shaquan Barkley for the Giants. Honorable mention was Nick Chubb, Sony Michel from New England, and Philip Lindsay from Denver. Quarterbacks, they're giving it to Baker Mayfield. Then you got Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson as honorable mentions for rookies of the year. Philip Lindsay from Denver. Honorable mentions are Robert Foster, Buffalo Bills, and DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers. The Maryland guys. These are tackles and guards. The big guys in the middle. Center, did we get anybody? Tight end, they're giving Mark Andrews. Rookie tight end, played in plenty of games. Not a significant part. So he was number one. You had Dallas, Gethard for Philadelphia, and Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys. So that was some of the rookies of the years, some of the honorable mention guys. And you had Lamar honorable mention, and Andrews, the 3rd round pick from Oklahoma. You know, he gets 3rd round. He gets top of the tight end bracket as rookie of the year. And he did a good job, you know. Caught some passes, good blocking, good hands. And the other one, Hurst, you know, he was hurt, but he'll come around. So we got 2 good tight ends. So let's see what they can do. How's everybody doing out there? Is anybody out there? Well, so like I said earlier, the Cowboys are going to take Kellen Moore to be their offensive coordinator. He played at Boise State for three years for the Cowboys. He was their sensational quarterback at the time. And he was a quarterback for the Cowboys for a little bit, you know. And then he was a quarterback coach. And then you're going to bring John Kitna, and he's going to be their quarterback coach for the Cowboys. He was a 16-year NFL guy, kind of journeyman, bouncing around. And he played for the Cowboys for about 3 years, I think, back in the day, back then. And like I said, Mahomes in 2020 could sign for $200 million, they're saying. Because you know, this year he threw for 5,097 yards and 50 TDs. You know, he's in a class with Peyton Manning, and I forgot who else he was in there with. It's 3 of them that have that record of 50 passes, and the thing and one of them was Peyton. So he has good company in that record book that he's in. And, you know, and like I said, now we're waiting for spring training. We got 2 weeks of all the of the Rams and the Patriots. We'll see all the drama that leads up to the game. That should be a good game. This one was down to the wire. We had two playoff games that went into overtime, down to the wire, 57-yard field goal, and then Manning takes them on a 8-play drive and gets them in the end zone, and ends up winning the game with a little Buckhead, the old running back. You had Edelman when he went to field that punt and he wasn't going to, and he went to field it and it bounced over him, didn't touch him. And then the next play, what's he do? Tips it off his hands and they get an interception. So somehow, some way, it got him back. But it looked like the ball. I mean, it didn't look like it hit him from all the replays. And he knew it, but I hate when guys do that. If you're undecisive, get it away from it, because that's what happens. You go for it and then they end up fumbling because they're not concentrating. Shoot up, boom, and it bounces off of them. Then don't touch it. If you're not sure of it, get away from it. But that's all the stuff we got there. What do we got here? You want to know how to work out like a WWE superstar? How, Vince? You doing shoulders and back today? Cody Rhodes. So they said that the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars is back in some kind of wrestling promotion. I like reading that crazy stuff. All right. That's it for my sports night. I gotta go to bed. Make sure I dress warm in the morning, everybody. It's going to be a chilly one out there. You can hear the wind kicking now. So if you're going to go outside, make sure that you're all bundled up. Don't try and be a He-Man and go out there in shorts, because you're going to be cold. So I'll see you. This is the Fat Man, Mike Nasty. I'm in, I'm out. I'm all about it. I'm out of here on a Sunday night. So you got your matchup, Rams and Patriots. Jared Goff, Brady, Mr. Tom Brady. That's what you got. 2 weeks. It'll come down to that, to see who's the Super Bowl champs. See what they got. I'm out of here, Mike Nasty. You view it. You don't. That's all we got. Mike Nasty. See us. We're out. We're ending it up. We're streaming it off. We're ending the stream. See you later.